Okay everyone, so I've got a free barrel today. We are going to start a batch of obsidian, and I've got some that's partially tumbled already. That's been ran through a previous batch. I just cleaned it up. It just wasn't quite done, and then we've got a whole bunch of rough. I've got a couple containers worth. I'm going to break some others up as well. I've got some new material, but we're just going to fill up the barrel and start running this and show you the process we use on obsidian. Now obsidian is a little temperamental, so I usually fill the barrel a little more than I normally would. Just gives them a little bit less room to move around and crack each other. So you can see I'm about 3/4. So I'm just going to do, this is a 3-pound barrel, so I'm going to do 3 scoops of silicon carbide 60-90 grit, and then fill the water just below the rocks, run it for a week, and then we'll check back then. Here's obsidian after getting done with 1 round of stage 1. Sometimes you need to be careful with obsidian. Earlier in the week, the bottom of the barrel was starting to bulge. You just have to open it, bleed the air out, and then start it back up, and it's just fine, but it is something to keep in mind. I think that usually only happens with glass and obsidian. Obsidian tends to go pretty quick. Looks like I've got a couple pieces stuck on the bottom, which almost never happens. My bucket's not full. Okay. So I do expect quite a few of these to be done. Obsidian's, like I said, usually really fast. I've got a few different kinds in here. This is some sort, I don't know what it would really be called, but it has lots of gray in it, banding. And that piece is definitely very close. Nope, it's not ready. I don't know if you can see, there's one little nick. And obsidian is one I really do want to be perfect because it gets such a glassy shine. Snowflake piece. And it is perfect. Oh, nope, one more little spot here. So I'm going to move that on too, or not move it on, I should say. This is just regular black obsidian, but it's got some color in it as well. It's not, nope, it's got a few nicks. It's gonna go one more week. These I am running in my slower tumbler because they tend to be a little easier to break and crack. This is one kind that I don't use the Harbor Freight tumblers for, or excuse me, I don't use the National Geographic tumblers for. Harbor Freight ones would be fine because they're slow. And so these are doing a full week in each stage 1, each round of stage 1. Got a little tiny nick, so it's not ready. Sometimes you get some gray, you gotta really look careful. I think that piece is ready to move on. It's perfect. Really pretty. Another piece of snowflake. It has a bunch of ridges in it. So, after 1 week, we have all these ready. Everything else is going to go on to stage 2, or stage 1 again. We'll probably have to add a few more pieces to fill the barrel back up. After 1 week, our obsidian barrel is under half full, so we need to add some more pieces here. Got my box of rough. If we run out of rough, I have a whole bucket of obsidian here that I have found that I would then break up, but I've got plenty for now. Got kids fighting. Let's do that pretty mahogany piece. And this gray's cool. Do a piece of this snowflake. Another snowflake. Big piece. Obsidian, I'm going to go about 3/4 full, just so it doesn't, it's a little easier on it when it's full. They don't have to fall as far. It's less chance of them cracking. A couple more just plain black obsidian. It's good to use a few different sizes. Just helps fill in gaps. It's a good piece. Now add water. Okay, we've got the water just below the rocks. This is a 3-pound barrel, so 3 scoops of grit. We're ready to go back on the tumbler, and we will check it in 7 days. Okay guys, it's been a week on our obsidian. We're going to take them out and see what's ready to go. I did not have any swelling this week of the barrel. Sometimes that happens with obsidian. Have not had that issue, but it's a good thing to check halfway through the week and just see if you need to let some air out. Still got a lot of grit left. I don't really know what that means, if anything, but still quite a bit in there. I'm just going to leave some in the barrel. It's not going to hurt anything. I suspect we'll have quite a bit done this time. Piece is ready to go. It is going to be really pretty. This piece rounded nicely, but we still got some chunks here. So that's it back in for another week. This is a rainbow piece. Maybe you can kind of tell. It is perfect and ready to go. The snowflake. Also out. Got one little nick. I'm going to keep moving that one on. One more week. Same with this piece. We got a couple things. Got a big nick here. Another rainbow piece, got a big issue right in there. Big issue right here. Maybe we won't have a lot done. That piece is for sure done. It is really cool. That piece is done. This needs another week. Needs another week. Really, really cool piece, but it needs another week. We got quite a few issues here. That's also a cool piece. We got one big nick, so we keep it going on. A few little nicks in that. Big nick here. couple issues with that one still. This one's done, ready to move on. Big nick there. That piece is done. So just to show you, after 3 weeks, this is how much we have done. It is not a fast process, but this is actually faster by a lot than most rocks. But we're going to keep going until I have enough in this set to move into the vibratory tumbler for stages 2, 3, and 4. We'll see you in a week. Okay, so you can see we've lost a whole lot of capacity here. So I'm going to add quite a few new pieces. I'm going to add a big piece. That one looks cool. There's nothing real big left in there, so a big piece isn't going to hurt anything. And even just plain, these are so cool. Try and mix the sizes up a little bit. Piece. Let me fill this with water real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, we have our water. Now I'm going to add 3 scoops of grit. And then we're going to see you back in 7 days. Okay, we have been 1 more week on our batch of obsidian. So let's go ahead and check that out. I once again this week didn't have any problems with bulging, but it is something to keep in mind with obsidian. But this batch has been great so far. Got pretty much no grit left, which means we used it all this week, which is good. Last week I felt like there was a little more left over still. They're looking really pretty. So this piece still has a big chunk here, so it's not ready. As I mentioned before, with obsidian, I want it to be perfect. It just makes it polish easier in the next stages because it's not an easy rock to polish. So this one has a mark still. It's interesting, the snowflake pieces don't have a ton of snowflake left, but that one is still got some ways to go. This piece is really pretty and really close. We just have a couple nicks here. Same there. Got a little tiny nick there. I don't know if you can even see. Same here. A lot of these are ridiculously close, but just not quite perfect. In other batches of rocks, I'd be fine with these, but I'm going to be really picky with this obsidian. Okay, so we did end up having a few small pieces, probably 5 or 6 small ones ready to go. So we have lost quite a bit of volume here in the barrel. So I'm just going to reload a few randoms. It's a good looking round piece. That should move fairly quick. Small one of these. Okay, then I'm just going to reload with water, 2.5 scoops of grit, and then we'll run it for another week. Okay, it's been 7 more days on our obsidian. I'm going to check on it. Seems like with obsidian, I always have more left on the bottom of the barrel than I normally would. It's not gritty anymore. There's a lot stuck in there. Slosh it around a little. Those look good though. Let's look at a few pieces. Looks like that's got some mahogany and some snowflake. And that piece just needs a little longer, just a couple little nicks left in it. Big mahogany piece, still got a big chunk left that needs to come out of it. That gray piece is ready to go. Really pretty piece too. Let me get my box of rough. That's ready, not rough, of stuff ready to move on to round 2. This is one of the ones I just added last week. Got nice and rounded, but still just got to get some of those little cracks out. Another really pretty gray piece. That one's ready to move on. That one's ready to move on. It's got some spots still. That piece is ready to move on. Just a little tiny nick in that one, right there in that corner. So we're going to keep that moving. This piece of rainbow is ready to go. Another really pretty snowflake. That one is ready to move on. That one's not even close. Still got a big imperfection there. I'll go through the rest of these and show you in just a minute what else was done. So, through our full process, this is how much is done with stage 1 so far. I think I'm going to run one more stage, one more week, and I think we'll have enough to move on to round 2 in the vibratory tumbler. But I'm just going to fill just like always, add a couple more rocks, and then we'll see what we come up with for next week. We'll see you in 7 days. Okay guys, it's been 3 days on 7 days, excuse me, on the obsidian. I expect to have enough done this week to move on to step 2, but we're just going to have to find out here. Once again, we have a really thick slurry on the bottom. It's interesting. Pretty rocky here. So that one right off the bat is not ready. A lot of issues right here. Same on this big piece. Big crack right there. Big crack right there. Maybe we won't have enough. Issue there. Look at one more close. That is going to be a beautiful piece. Got a little bit of an issue here though. So I'll go through the rest of these and show you what was done in just a couple minutes. Okay, so we did have some done. Still not as much as I was hoping for though, so I'm going to reload and go one more week. But we got some real cool pieces. I'll show you one up close. It's got some real good snowflakes on it. This is just going to be a pretty black with one tiny snowflake, and this some colored design over here. Show you one other. There it is. This piece, I don't know if you can tell, but it is completely see-through. You can see daylight behind it. Yeah, you can tell. That one's going to be really cool. We're just going to reload one more week. We'll see you then. Okay, it's been another week on our obsidian, and I will be absolutely shocked if we're not going to have enough by the end of this one to move on to stage 2. But let's check it out. Okay, got some cool looking pieces already. That one's not ready, but man, that's a cool piece. This is the other half of that same rock. It's not ready as well. Big, huge mahogany piece. Got a big issue right here in this corner. That one would be perfect, except for we have a big chip there. I think that broke off tumbling this week. But I'll check the rest of these and come back and show you what was done. Okay, for reasons that do not make a lot of sense, we did not have much done. Got a few little tiny guys, one good sized piece, but I think we're still, let me grab the rough here, or not the rough, but what's been done already. I think we're still going to have enough that I'm going to move on into stage 2 in the vibratory tumbler. So we'll take you over in the process of loading that up. Just to show you guys really quick, I am nowhere near done with running. I'll be doing lots more obsidian. This whole bucket is full of different kinds of obsidian. Big, huge gray piece. We got lots of mahogany, lots of regular, lots of rainbow. There's some more snowflake in there. So I've got lots and lots of obsidian that needs to be broken up and ran. Big, huge piece of mahogany. So stay tuned if you like obsidian. We're going to have some really pretty stuff. That one is going to be awesome. Oh, this one I want to show you real quick. I don't even know what this would be called, but it's almost completely orange. So yeah, when we're done with this video, stay tuned because we're going to be doing lots more obsidian. Okay guys, it's ready. It's time to load the tumbler with our obsidian batch. All this has been run through stage 1. So we're going to start, we're going to do stages 2, 3, and 4 in the vibratory tumbler. We'll start by just getting everything loaded in here. Alright, so as you can see, the barrel is not full, so I'm going to take and add a whole bunch of ceramic media. Also, just so you know, the reason this barrel is dirty is because I just didn't wash it after the last 500 stage, because I don't care if there's a little tiny bit of 500 grit when you're doing something coarser. We're going to be using 220. So it doesn't hurt anything, and then I'll wash it before we add 500 into the next stage. And so all these ceramics were already wet going in, so I think we should be good on water, but I'm still going to have to be checking this every 12 hours. I'm just going to start it and see how it's moving. So it looks great. It mixes the ceramics in, so we know if we need to add more. I think we're going to be okay for now. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon or tablespoon of borax. And then I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of 12220 silicon carbide. And usually in this stage, it really wants to dry out. And so it's very important that you check it often. Sometimes even, the last batch I did, even 12 hours was too long. But usually 12 hours is pretty good. But let's just see how that mixes in here. Okay, it's looking great. I'm just going to put the lid on. We'll check on it in 12 hours. Okay, it's been 2 days on our 200 stage. I've got these rinsed in some soap and water for a little while. Now we're going to rinse them off for good. take a look at a couple of them. They are feeling very smooth. So at this point, I'm going to go through with a toothbrush and clean each one individually, and then make sure all the ceramics are perfectly clean, and then we're going to reload for step 3. Okay, so we got everything cleaned. The bowl very thoroughly cleaned, each rock individually cleaned, all the ceramics cleaned. Now for step 3, I've added 1 tablespoon of borax and 1 tablespoon of 500 aluminum oxide. Let's just see how it mixes up here. It looks great, so we're going to run this for at least 2 days, possibly even longer. We'll just play that by ear. Hi guys, just wanted to show you after 24 hours in the 500 stage. I don't know why every rock is so much different than others, but I have not had to add any water. If anything, it seems like there's too much water, even though I didn't change any way that I normally load these. Just wanted to show you how much we still have movement. Still got really good movement, so I'm just going to keep it going. Check again tomorrow. Hi everybody. So a quick update here on the Obsidian. It's been 36 hours, which is longer than normal. I decided to leave it in the 500 stage. They still were looking a little bit dull. Just wanted to show you how it's running. I have still not added any water. Still working great. I'm going to run it for 1 more day and then take them off and clean them out real good and get them ready for final polish tomorrow. So we'll be back with an update then. Okay everybody, it's been 48 hours. So I'm going to get these ready and cleaned off to go into the polish stage. And so these are going to go into my sonic cleaner, so I don't worry in this stage about getting them crazy clean. I just rinse all the crap off and then go get them in the sonic cleaner. We'll see you in a minute. Okay, here is our Obsidian, fresh out of the cleaner, getting ready to go into the polish bowl. I just wanted to show you kind of how they're looking. They've definitely already got a shine. It's not perfect, so definitely going to do it some good to go into polish, but there's some really cool pieces. We're going to put it in polish for at least 48 hours, possibly longer. We'll just have to see how it goes. But we're going to check it every 12 hours like normal. We'll see you then. Okay, we've got the barrel loaded. So once again, for polish, I'm going to do a full tablespoon of borax. Maybe even a little more just to really thicken that up. And then, grab my spoon here. We're going to do 1 tablespoon of rock shed polish. So we'll start it up just to make sure it's moving good. Looks great. So I'm going to come back and check this in 12 hours. Okay guys, so I ended up running the final polish stage for 36 hours and we are getting ready to go clean them off, and then I'm going to put them back in the barrel here for a clean for a couple hours with borax. I've decided, instead of my usual sonic cleaner method, being glass, it could be hard on it, so I'm just going to run these with the normal borax and water in here and run that for a few hours, and then we'll check out the final polish. Okay, so we got the rocks spray cleaned off. Now I've put them back in the barrel. We're going to just do 2 pretty big spoons of borax here, tablespoons. And I already filled it about 1/4 full of water, which is a lot more than I would normally use for the normal tumbling process, but this is basically just giving them a really good bath. I'm even going to throw in just a little bit of dish soap, and then we're just going to run that for a couple hours, and then we'll see the final result. When there's a lot of water, it moves a lot slower. That's normal. Okay, everybody, the obsidian is done. We've got a few different kinds here. I would say as a whole it turned out very, very well. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's perfect. There's a few little chips here and there. I mean, they are glass. But let's look at a few of my favorites. Probably my very favorite are these gray pieces. As you can see, we got a really, really nice shine. Another one of those grays. See if I can show you here a couple rainbow pieces. This is way better to see out in the sun, but I don't know if you can see that there, but they get a little green flash. There you go, you can see it pretty good right there. Just really cool. Now I can't, there it is. I don't know if you can see that green flash come in. Outside it's very noticeable. This one got a pretty good chip on it, but is really cool on the rainbow side. Here's some normal ones. It's got really good shine. I thought that was a chip, but it's just a piece of the rock. And obsidian looks black from a distance, but I don't know if you can see up close. It's not perfectly black. There's little colors and bands, and just really happy with it. Here's a really pretty piece of mahogany. Another little mahogany that's almost straight color. Really pretty. This one was a little different. It's got some color banding. And then we've got a whole bunch of snowflake pieces that turned out really, really nicely. Nice big snowflakes on these ones. Here's a good shape. And then we've got these other ones with lots of little tiny tight snowflakes. Really love these. So yeah, I would say overall, just a really, really successful batch. Had a lot of fun doing it. I have a lot more obsidian to do later. Looking forward to. But thanks for watching. Appreciate it.